Hi everybody, welcome back to some gungong examples, which will become variations applied for the drum set. Dagomba Rhythms for Drum Set is the article we're talking about. And this last rhythm I want to present is an original of mine that we played in the Agbekro Society and experimented with some possibilities. And I created a very contemporary version of this piece, which you are welcome to check out and download or whatever the options become. It's called Apprentice, and it really breaks down these patterns interestingly in the traditional side, the gungong and the lunga, and then right to drum set. As you can probably see in the examples that are notated, pretty involved stuff going to the drum set. A completely new way of applying the melody of the talking drum to the drums themselves, the toms and the floor tom. But to begin, the gungong is pretty driving rhythm. It's pretty straightforward, except the keys, the press strokes, are going to be on the beat, on beats 1 and 3. So that's going to mean that on drum set, we're applying snare drum on 1 and 3. So it has kind of a counterintuitive way of hearing phrases with snare on 1, I guess is the way to describe it. I'm a big fan of those types of examples. Not to be clever, well, to be a little bit clever, but not to get too cute, because the phrase really has this propelling energy that I think helps establish it. So if I keep the beat and speak the gungong, we have kikaka, 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 kik. Very much in that kind of 12/8 vibe. 1 and 3 and bunt, ba ba bunt, ga. Sorry. So really no variations on that, just kind of laying that down, making it clean, and really sort of feeling that kind of pulsating, those keys that just mark the beat. So that's the gungong. That'll become bass drum and snare drum, and the breakdown, it will very carefully and slowly break that down, the entire rhythm for you on drum set. So that's gungong, and that's the extent of the gungong examples for this video. But I encourage you to just take a couple of days, hours, 10 minutes, whatever you have, and start to get inside some of these other rhythms. Open your mind, ears, and eyes to these other traditions. The Dagomba people in northern Ghana, very sweet, very beautiful, and I'm indebted to my teachers, beginning first with Professor David Locke at Tufts University, an important scholar, dear friend, and founder of the Agbekro Society, of which I'm a long-standing member, and also, of course, the great drumming chief who inspired us and taught us all for many decades, the great Alhaji Dolsana Abu Bakari Luna. That said, thank you for participating and enjoying. I'd love to hear your feedback on how this is working. Check out the track, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're going to now talk about the answer lunga and lead lunga rhythms for my original composition called Bambali. And basically, it's talking about the offbeat phrase in 6 and 12/8, and also more of an onbeat phrase for the lead part. And if you follow the example in the article, you'll see that I refer to it first as cymbal hits, just to get a feel for it, but then as the tom adaptations. So the phrase is basically dan 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 dan, low high low mid high low mid high low dan 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 one dan dan. So it's on that offbeat. So we have dun. So that's the first phrase in the example with the drum set, kikaka, kikaka, the gungong part on the snare and the bass drum. Now then there's a lead phrase, and ideally in a traditional context, the way we played it in the Becker Society, it was we had both the lead and the answer patterns going together. So there was more of a connecting of the dots taking place. You'll have to forgive me here, a little bit of a loose string. These straps can dry out and they is in constant need of repair. Except to say now the lead lunga starts on the beat and it's kind of a phrase in 7. Dan dan din dan 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 din dan 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 din dan din dan dan din dan 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 din dan din dan. And the article I talk about speaking it like with South Indian syllables. It kind of has sort of a Solka 2 sort of South Indian Carnatic style to it. A group of 7, a 4, a 3, and a 3. Taka dimi taki ta taka dimi taki ta taka dimi taka 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 dimi taki ta taka dimi taki ta taka dimi taka taka. These are the hits on the lunga. Once again. Taka dimi taki ta taka dimi taki ta taka dimi taka 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 dimi taki ta taka dimi taka taka dimi taka taka. But if I kept a steady beat and spoke the phrase taka dimi taki taka dimi taka taka dimi taka 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 dimi taki taka dimi taka taka dimi taka taka. That by itself is an interesting little example, keeping the beat while speaking the phrase. And that is on the lunga is just the primary hits. So that would be on the 1. Would we be have? So a little bit of Bambali, putting all those parts together will be where we're heading next on the drum set. Very slow strategic breakdown to give you this completely new way of, well, maybe not that new, but for some of my students, adapting bell patterns and melodies to the actual toms, and floor, medium, and high tom as an example. And combining, really this one truly does combine both the gong and the lunga patterns in one groove. So that was kind of the science behind my wanting to construct this. Check out the tune Apprentice, that's part of the download, or the options to listen, where I begin with the gong and the lunga, and then I go right to the drum set for the very phrases we're talking about here. Okay, so thank you for participating in the Dagomba portion of this presentation, and please let me know how it's going with the examples. I'm hoping that it's clear and it's got enough context for you to grasp the culture and the tradition, and then having some new ideas. Okay, thanks, take care. Hi everybody, welcome back. This is the last rhythm on the drum set examples adapted from Dagomba Rhythms. This is an original composition of mine from a CD, and by the way, listen to the tracks that are provided for 3 of the examples, and one of them is this track called Apprentice. Basically, this one will combine gunga and lunga phrases, and I do this on the track in a traditional context, and then I move to the drum set example, so it'll really give you a chance to hear things in play. This is unusual because the snare is going to be on the 1, and it's also going to be on the 3, so you're going to get this, and with the bisham, we have a snare and bisham, so ki-ka-ka, 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 ki-ka-ka. That's very much in kind of a 12-8-5. The lunga, I should say, which will be on the cymbal for now, is going to be in more of a 6 feel, and it's going to be an offbeat 6 and an onbeat 6. Here's just the snare with the cymbal pattern in the first example. So it flips. Off, on beat 6, off, on. And with the bass drum, ready, go. The next pattern in 7 would be this. Taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taka, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, taki, taka-dini, have probably practiced speaking the syllables with that snare drum hit, but you get this in combination. It'll make more sense when we go to the toms. The idea is to now adapt. If you look at the example series 2, just the snare and the toms, and the first line repeating would be. Bass drum. The 7 would be interesting. It's going to go up and down. So taka-dee-dee, taka-dee-dee, taka-dee-dee. The pattern, as tricky as it is, it kind of follows this up and then back down again flow. So that helps me to keep my place. Let me now play the 2 examples in sequence, 4 bars each, and then maybe 2 bars each. So this is from the series 2. 3, 4. That will keep you busy for a little while, as it did me, but it feels really nice when it's all locked in. And so that concludes the drum set examples and the gongong and lunga examples for this article. It's a lot to talk about, and hopefully it's not too overwhelming. Remember, you have time, you have space, you have just grab an idea that feels right and develop that, and never feel overwhelmed. I'm still on the path of trying to make these work, so I'm just a humble narrator who's sort of showing you where I am in the moment. It's all process, remember, and then you start to enjoy it a lot more when it starts to make sense. Definitely listen to some of the traditional examples. We'll see you soon for another article down the road, perhaps, and hope all is well. Let me know how it's going. Check out the drum tracks. Check out my website, rhombuspublishing.com, for all my CDs, books, and articles, and, of course, a lot of back issues from PAS. I've published many over the years. Talk to you later, and best of success.